Hello everyone. In this particular topic, we are going to discuss about transport, degradation, and systemic effects of thyroid hormones. So first, let me talk about the transportation of the thyroid hormones in the bloodstream. Now remember T3, which is triiodothyronine, and T4, thyroxine, are lipophilic in nature, meaning they are fat soluble. But despite being lipophilic, they are derived from amino acids and they carry a charged structure. So, this prevents them from freely diffusing across the cell membrane like other steroid hormones do. So, instead, thyroid hormones require a transporter protein to enter target cells. This is known as facilitated diffusion. So, once they are inside the bloodstream, they don't float around freely. So over 99% of T3 and T4 is bound to carrier proteins which make them inactive while bound. So let's now break down these carrier proteins in detail. So what are the main transport proteins? First one is the thyroxine binding globulin, TBG. So this is the major carrier of both T3 and T4. It binds the largest fraction of thyroid hormones in the serum. So the bound fraction is biologically inactive. Only the free form, that is less than 1%, is biologically active and functional at the cellular level. So what is the clinical relevance to it? So whenever there is an increase in the estrogen states like pregnancy or oral contraceptive use, stimulate this increase in the TBG production by the liver. This lowers free T3 and T4 temporarily, causing the body to compensate by producing more. And decrease in the TBG synthesis is seen in nephrotic syndrome or chronic liver disease, which raises free T3, T4 transiently, and feedback suppresses hormone production. So this is what you need to know about the clinical link which is associated with it. And second important transporter protein is called as transthyretin, which is also known as prealbumin, which is another minor carrier of T4. It is a negative acute phase reactant, meaning levels drop during inflammation. This drop allows amino acids to be conserved for producing positive acute phase proteins during stress like CRP. So next is the peripheral conversion of T4 to T3. While the thyroid gland releases more T4 than T3, it is T3 that is biologically more active, right? So inside tissues like the liver, skeletal muscle, brown fat, and the pituitary gland, the enzyme called as type 2 5-deiodinase converts T4 into T3, allowing it to exert its biological effects. So now we know that how it is getting transported and how it enters into the cell. Now we need to discuss in more detail about the systemic effects of the thyroid hormone. That is how the T3, T4 affect on the body or the target organs, we can say. What is their main job? The main job is to increase the body's metabolic rate. But they have widespread actions across the multiple systems. Let me discuss about each and every system in detail and their effects. The first one is the cardiovascular system. In the cardiovascular system, this T3, T4 is responsible for increased expression of beta adrenergic receptors. So therefore, what happens? Makes the heart more responsive to catecholamines, that is epinephrine and norepinephrine, due to which there will be increase in the heart rate, increase in the stroke volume, cardiac output, and myocardial contractility. So this is why hyperthyroid patients have palpitations and a bounding pulse. Second is the action on the respiratory system. So on the respiratory system, stimulates the respiratory center in the brainstem. So whenever these hormones are stimulating the respiratory center in the brainstem, they obviously increase the respiratory rate. So in neonates, it stimulates the surfactant production, which is absolutely essential for lung function. And also, these hormones increases lung perfusion and oxygen delivery to meet the metabolic demands. Next is about the nervous system. So T3 and T4, the thyroid hormones, absolutely essential for the development of the central nervous system, especially during fetal and early postnatal life because it promotes brain maturation, myelination, and neuronal differentiation. So, deficiency in infancy causes cretinism and a preventable cause of intellectual disability, we can say. Now, let's talk about the effects on musculoskeletal system. So, these hormones promote the growth and differentiation of fast twitch muscle fibers. These are type 2 muscle fibers, we can say. And also, they stimulate bone growth by increasing the chondrocyte activity and also the osteoblast and osteoclast activation. So, this is how they increase the cartilage as well as growth of the bone. Not only that, they also increase the growth hormone secretion and its sensitivity. Now, the effect on reproductive system. So, these thyroid hormones are absolutely critical for fertility, especially in females. They support ovulation, menstrual regularity, and overall reproductive health. Now, effects on the metabolisms. So, thyroid hormones ramp up metabolism in many different ways. Most importantly, they increase the basal metabolic rate. They do this by increasing the sodium potassium ATPase expression, which uses ATP and increases oxygen consumption. So, this leads to increased heat production, that is thermogenesis. So, what is the effect on carbohydrate metabolism? They increase gluconeogenesis, that is synthesis of new glucose from non-carbohydrate compounds, increase in the glycogen breakdown, that is glycogenolysis, increase in the absorption of glucose, and also increase in the oxidation of glucose. And on the lipid metabolism, they promote lipolysis, but in other contexts may support lipogenesis also. So, depending upon the metabolic demands of the body, we can say. Most importantly, they stimulate the lipolysis. And on the protein metabolism, in normal doses, like when the hormone secretion or synthesis is normal, they promote protein synthesis, that is anabolism. But when these hormones are in excess level, they can cause catabolism and muscle wasting. And next is finally, we talk about thermoregulation. As I already mentioned, because of increase in the basal metabolic rate, it increases the thermogenesis as a result of increased ATP usage and heat generation. That is the reason hyperthyroid patients or individuals feel warm and hypothyroid patients often feel cold. So, all these are the effects, systemic effects we can say, on different organs of the body. So, by this, we have completed in detail about the transportation and the systemic effects of thyroid hormones. Thank you.